Welcome to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast, where we explore personal, professional, and financial success stories of top achievers. Let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome to Pathways to Prosperity. I'm here today with Christian of Puzzle HR. How's it going today, Christian?
Hey, Terrence, it's good to meet you. And call me Chris, please.
Chris, okay. Yeah, throws me off. I have a business partner. His name's Tristan. I'm trying not to say his name when I say your name. So, so hey, Chris, can you tell us a little bit, or give us a quick snapshot of your business and what you guys are doing right now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the company is Puzzle HR. You can look us up at puzzlehr.com and all the socials, of course. But in essence, we are, as we were talking about before, we're fractional human resources service. So companies, small, medium-sized businesses, our average client, was going to have between really 25 and 150 employees who we serve. We provide HR and HR adjacent services to those businesses. And, HR has really gotten complex, right? With, you can be a D&I expert, you can be an employee engagement expert, benefits, payroll, and on and on and on. So it's like going to a hospital. And so, we started the business 5 years ago, understanding that no business owner really wants to spend the amount of money that they need to fully optimize the HR function in their organization, right? Like if you've got HR really humming, your employee engagement's going to be high, your turnover is going to be low. That means your expenses are going to come down, your productivity is going to go up, right? But most business leaders, if they've got a couple of $100,000, if they got $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever it is, you're just laying around. They're going to, before they hire a salesperson, they're going to buy a piece of equipment or buy some inventory that they can resell, or hire a salesperson. They would do all of those things, or just keep the money. Before hiring someone in HR. And so we decided to start the business, kind of the ultimate HR department, and companies can subscribe to as much or as little HR support in all the different varieties of HR that they need on a monthly basis.
Nice. Okay. So just so I have a little better understanding and what we're sharing with people, are you guys helping to hire too, or just more of handling the backside of the HR puzzle?
Yeah, no, that's see what I did there? So we do all of it, right? So we have a talent acquisition team. So if you're looking to hire a salesperson, CFO, or even just like a frontline worker, our clients, if they choose to, they can have us write the job descriptions, post the jobs on Indeed or LinkedIn or what have you, do the first interviews, send out the, schedule the second interviews, but the decision makers send out those acceptance or declination letters. And then they move on to our employee onboarding where we onboard the employee into the company. So we do all of that all the way through processing payroll, managing benefits, doing the things like employee engagement, diversity, equity, inclusion, performance management, all of those sorts of things. So, and the great thing is clients can hire us just for that tactical HR. I have plenty of clients that just hire us for talent acquisition and employee onboarding. And then I have clients that will hire us that won't have us do any of the tactical. They'll hire us for leadership development and more strategic HR, like employee engagement and stuff like that, and everything in between. We can go as wide or as narrow as the client needs us to.
Okay, so obviously in the HR space, there's a lot of competition in that area. What sets you apart, and maybe what comes easy to you that others find challenging?
So I think what sets us apart is we're the only national HR outsourcing firm that I know of that can be as narrow and shallow or as deep and broad as we can, right? So that I think that is what sets us apart. When companies come in and they do a deep dive with us and figure out what actually they need, there are very few things that we say no to. And if you think about it, right, like I mentioned payroll. So we're not a payroll company like a Paychex or an ADP or anything like that. But what we will do is we will, wherever our clients are, whatever payroll company you need or you use, we'll do your payroll for you on that system, just like you were hiring an in-house payroll person, right? So we can do that, and we can handle leave of absence management, and we can do talent acquisition like we talked about. So so we can be as diverse or provide as diverse an offering or as narrow a scope as a customer might need. So I think that's one thing that I think we do really, 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 really well. We're also, pretty good technologists. A lot of times people will have these older systems, they've had ADP for 10 years or Dayforce for 5 years or UKG, whoever it is, they've had the system for a very long time, but their business has changed. And so what we feel is, instead of changing to a new system, let's optimize the system that you have, right? And so we'll go in and we'll look at, your processes, procedures, and kind of build, help rebuild the system that you have so you don't have to, make such a disruptive change. Just as an example, I think those are the things that we do that set us apart and kind of we do better than anybody else.
Awesome. Okay. If someone listening to us now wants to get better at their HR side of it without maybe necessarily coming to you first, what are things that you might suggest that they could do, or tips that you would give them? As I always say, I like to help people even if they don't need our help.
Yeah.
That might help them down the road or help them with growth. One of the things you hit upon for me is that it took me a long time to realize how much work goes into hiring and bringing people on board and taking care of all that stuff. That's really not a money-making venture for.
Yeah, I think there are so many different. So the question was, what do people have to do to get better at HR in their organizations? So I think the first thing that you have to do is you really have to think about your humans as resources to your organization, right? Not like just expense line items, right? But you have to look at them as, okay, so who are these folks that I have that are going into battle with me every day to drive this growth? And what is it that they need or they're looking for, or what do they value? And how can I align my organization's values with their values so that we really know that we're in lockstep and moving forward? Too often you get employees let me say it this way. It's really rare that a new employee comes to the company and they're like, you know what? I just want to clock in and out and get a paycheck. That's all I want, right? That's sometimes that happens, but it's not really all the time, right? And truthfully, those employees aren't really the employees that are going to help you grow and scale your company, right? The ones that are going to help you grow and scale your organizations are the ones that believe in your mission, your vision, values, and want to help you drive the company forward, right? And so I believe that most people, when they get a new job, they're really excited and they want to come in and they want to work hard and they want to move up in the organization. They want to move up. They want to enhance their career, learn, and grow, right? So I think that employers really, like, if you are looking at your employees as just a cog in a wheel, right? And, this person's costing me whatever, thousands of dollars a month I'm paying them for salary and benefits, and not thinking about them as, you're not thinking about them as partners, as resources in the organization, and not being willing to give back, right? Something above and beyond a paycheck, right? If you do that alone, right, you'll automatically enhance the engagement of your employees, which will decrease turnover and increase profitability of your organization. So I think, looking at your humans, your people, as real assets to help you grow your organization versus, frankly, liabilities. And some people do. If you like shift that mindset, you'll deal with your folks in a whole different way, and I think you get a much better return on your investment. Really,
yeah. That's definitely one of the things that we try to always look for is how can we better align with our employees? What things can we do that help them, in their life as much as possible, not only just about us, so I definitely appreciate that side of it. Hey, Chris, what's one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
So in my career, let's see. So I can think of two right off the top of the bat. So, and I'll give you this one. So the transition from being an employee to being a business owner, that was big. Like we still deal with that today. I mean, I was an executive in a large publicly traded company, and I went from that to do a little bit of consulting and then started this company. And, we started the company 5 years ago. We had 13 employees. Today we've got 250 employees, really around all around the US and around the world. So
that's a lot of growth.
Yeah. No, it really is. It really has been. But, making the transition from employee to owner, that was the most difficult thing I've had to do in my career.
Yeah. No, we run into that a lot, especially in some of our businesses, is teaching people how to get out of the employee mindset into the business owner mindset. And it's very hard. So I could definitely appreciate that. It sounds like things are going well for you and your business. A lot of our guests are looking towards the future and how they can create passive income to enhance or even replace the current income. What are your thoughts on that? What do you currently do that, in order to build towards your future, as I always try to tell people?
Yeah. So it's funny. So I'll take a different swing at that question if I could. So when I was working at that large, publicly traded company, I'd been there for 24 years, and about 20 years into my career, I mean, I was making a lot of money, right? But I realized that maybe 19 years in my career. Yeah, it's about right. 19 years in my career, I was very well compensated, stock, cash compensation, right? But I was not in a position financially to be able to not make the kind of money I was making, right? Like, I needed to earn. That wasn't like paycheck to paycheck, but lifestyle wise, and I didn't have enough kind of set aside, et cetera, right? And so I went on a very strict campaign of making sure that I set myself up to where I would still, I'm 55 years old. This is going back probably 10, 12 years. So I had to work, right? So I still wanted to do something. But I specifically put myself into a position where I would still have to work, but I wouldn't have to make that kind of money every year for my primary income, right? For my W-2. Like, add to that the fact that it was a W-2, you just get killed in taxes. It's like, it's just, so at some point in time, I remember I wrote a high 6-figure tax check one year. That was the year. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? So I got a little bit lucky, and I found a couple of properties that I could purchase and rent out. So we just kind of opened a little like an LLC, right? And we bought a property here, property there, a couple of condos. Not the best investment, but they were But if you buy them right, and if you buy anything right, like that's when you make the money. And I bought, of the 5 or 6 that we had, I bought 4 of them really, really well. Right. And having that, and then of course I invest in public markets, but having that, gave me the ability to say, okay, you know what? I have to work someplace, but I don't have to work here. I don't have to make this money.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to, what that allowed me to do is, I was working as a consultant, working with some private equity firms. I took a couple of operator roles, took an operator role with a private equity backed company, got that acquired. And then was able, so setting myself up to be able to take a drastic pay cut. It was a drastic pay cut going from what I was earning to that private equity role. And then that allowed me, setting myself up allowed me to take that drastic pay cut, and then allowed me to take the next move, which was, I'm not going to take any salary because we're going to open a business, start a company. And 3 months before COVID kicked in, we hired 13, 14 people and started Puzzle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great time to start a business, and then to have the type of growth you do, you have is really a testament to, what you're doing.
I will tell you that COVID was trial by fire. I mean, it was November 4th of 2019. We had all of the new employees come in. We trained them, high-fived them, whatever. On the 4th, we sent them on their way. 3 months later, we were in Las Vegas at a trade show. It's like our first trade show. So the entire executive team was there. And within 2-3 weeks after that, everything shut down. And so talk about, going from employee to business owner. As an employee, everything shuts down. All right, great. And I don't have to do anything. Fine.
Yeah.
Right? As the business owner,
yes,
I got 13 people I need to get paid. We need sales in. What are we going to do? I was still kind of setting up the technical infrastructure of the organization. It was doing the marketing. It was a wild, wild time. So trial by fire was COVID.
Yes. No, I definitely hear that one. And wow, that's a heck of a time to start a business, but glad to hear that you were able to get through that and have a lot of success with it, for sure. From our side of it, real estate is definitely, to me, been a contractor and deal heavily in real estate, still in one of my businesses. And I truly believe it's the best place, no matter what, to have your money. Because, even after the crash in 08, 10 years later, the market was worth more money than it was before the crash, and it was the end of the world at that point in time.
Absolutely.
COVID actually even had a reverse effect of what I expected it to be, and set the market into hyperdrive, but like I said, to me, it's something tangible, it's real, and it's something that, you never have to worry about going to zero. So, as we're wrapping up our interview here, Chris, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for the next 6 to 12 months?
Excellent question. And for audience, dear listener, we did not plan this out. These questions are great.
Thank you.
We leverage a lot of technology, and the advent of these LLMs, ChatGPT, the Anthropic model, Perplexity. There are, between that and bots, like creating bots to do things, creating agents, right? So we believe that there is a good opportunity to create agents, artificial intelligence agents, to do a lot of the things in the HR world. I'm not talking about, doing performance reviews or anything like that, right? But we've already got our first 2 products where we leverage AI, to answer employee questions about the handbook, right? Are we off on Thursday? How do I get access to my pay stub? At the top, there's like 10 or 20 questions that employees ask all the time, right? And And so we have an AI agent that answers those questions, whether it be chat or email. We've now launched another AI to do 360 feedback reviews for employees. Right? So we really are looking to lean heavily into enablement with artificial intelligence. Again, not to take away the human, the human aspects of human resources, but really we want to use artificial intelligence to help us enhance actual intelligence, right? We want to move things faster and be more efficient for our customers. And there's so many things on that horizon we spend a lot of time thinking of and building and working. So that I think is going to be a big key to 2025.
Awesome. Yeah, it's something that we've definitely been experimenting with and trying to get off the ground in some of our businesses. So I'd love to hear how that goes for you, and maybe learn something more from you down the road of how that experience is going for you. So Chris, as we're wrapping up here, I appreciate your time today for being on and sharing insights and tips with us. If people would like to connect with you, what should they do?
Oh, sure. So, on our you can go to our website. It's puzzlehr.com. You can follow us on all the socials. LinkedIn is where we spend most of our time. Blue Sky. We have the presence on Twitter a little bit, or X, and then Facebook, so you can find us there. Or if you want to have some HR fun, and who doesn't, you can just wherever you get your podcasts. I think we're on Spotify. You can catch one of our podcast episodes. That you can't spell horror without HR. So little edutainment for you.
There you go.
We tell some HR horror stories. So that's how you can find us.
Awesome. Well, once again, I appreciate your time for being on here with us today and sharing with us. And I wish you success going forward in the future.
Hey, thanks, Terrence. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This was enjoyable. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast. Got a success story to share? Visit pathwaystoprosperitypodcast.com/guest and apply today.